Okay, so the other option is in-gym workouts. If you have another gym or if you have some equipment at home, you can do a modified version of these. So these are trisets of muscle groups. So anyone with training experience will look at this and go, ah, balls.
Yeah.
So for example, it's 6 squats with a 4-second negative, into 12 split squats with a 3-second negative, into 25 reverse lunges at each leg. You rest 90 seconds between rounds, you do 3 rounds, and you move on. Similar story for the barbell row into pull down, into dumbbell row, 6, 12, and 25, and then a little bit of biceps at the end. There's 2 training days like that you'll see, and this is the second one. If you're going to do it, and if this is the route you choose to go as part of this program, do 1 day in the first week, maybe do a second day in the second week, and gauge it and see yourself how you're going to feel, because this sort of training will create massive amounts of DOMs. You'll be very, very sore after it. Okay. DOMs aren't necessarily a good or a bad thing. They just show that your body is in a stress state. Okay. If you wake up without DOMs, it doesn't mean you've had a bad training session. It just means whatever you've asked your body to do, it's capable of recovering from. And if you're not able to recover from your training, you're not going to benefit from it. So you don't want to be in pain all the time. Look, you know the way for the last couple of weeks, most of you probably went, oh shit, I've DOMs again. By week 3 of the training cycle, it usually tapers off, it usually stops. That's just purely your body going, okay, I know how to recover now, I'm not in trouble anymore. So, putting it together is really simple. Okay, it's just not easy. Prepping your meals is going to be the single biggest thing you can do to make this a success. I know, right? Genuinely though, I just wanted to let that sink in. If there's one thing that will make or break body fat loss, body comp improvement, it's having food ready. Because if you don't have food ready and you get hungry, the first thing you're going to do is go for something sugary. Okay? I promise you that will happen again and again and again. You know, who's got the lunchtime slump in work and gone for biscuits, cake, chocolate? Oh, yeah. Just scratching your head. No admission of guilt. If at any point you get hungry, it's game over, you've lost. Okay? You can't use your willpower to get through that, because willpower is just saying, shit, I don't want to do anyway. Okay? You shouldn't need willpower for this stuff. You should be able to put in steps and strategies to kind of make things happen, and that's what the goal setting stuff Sarah's going to talk about is all about. So prep your meals. Take an hour on Sunday, take an hour on Thursday. If that means you sacrifice a training session, sacrifice the training session, because one training session missed is not the end of the world. 5 days of bad eating, that's not the end of the world. Die. It sucks, and it's going to set you back really badly. A missed training session is not a big deal. If you're on your feet prepping food anyway, you're still going to burn calories. You may not burn as much, but you'll still burn something. So, if it becomes training or meal prep wins all of the time for body comp. Now, if strength and fitness is your main target, which is perfectly cool if it is, then training supersedes it. But if your main goal is to look good naked, then getting your meals right is the most important part. You're going to train 3 times a week. Okay, that's like essentially kind of the minimum you need to get in to make sure you're seeing progress. Now that could be twice in RevFit and twice in the other gyms. It could be 3 times in RevFit and an extra session outside having fun. It could just be like 2 or 3 weight training sessions a week and 2 sports sessions a week. Like if you're already playing high intensity sports like tennis, football, something like that, maybe you don't need the extra sessions. Maybe you just need to tidy up the nutrition side of things a little bit more. I know there's like at least 2 guys in this room who after the last talk went off and made huge changes to their shit and saw massive, massive improvements because of it. I don't think activity levels increased that much, if at all, but definitely the control over the food made a big difference, and you can see it in them, you can kind of see the attitude change. So, on top of that, then we're going to track food daily on MyFitnessPal. Has everyone heard of MyFitnessPal? Oh, yeah, okay, cool. MyFitnessPal is an app on your phone. You download it by going to whatever store you're on, Android or Apple, so Apple, and type in MyFitnessPal. It will give you lists of foods. You'll be able to select, you know, I ate this for breakfast, I ate this for lunch, and I ate this for dinner. Put it into the calculator, and the calculator spits it back and says you've eaten this many macros, you've eaten this many calories. There's a really nifty little barcode scanner on it as well, down the bottom right of the screen. If you tap that, you can just hold your phone over the barcode on a package, or a packet, and it will read that and tell you what's in it and log it for you automatically if you want. If you're using MyFitnessPal, the one thing I'll say is sense check it. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you'll put in like, you know, I had a loaf of bread. It's the first thing I think.
Yeah.
You put in I had a loaf of bread and it'll spit back like, your loaf of bread was 20 calories and 4 grams of carbs. That's obviously wrong, okay? So if you have a chicken fillet and it tells you it's 500 calories, it's wrong. So when you put in something for the first time, just have a quick Google and make sure it actually makes sense. And once you've found, like, realistically on this, there's only going to be 10 or 12 foods that you're going to be regularly consuming, so it'll be easy to log and it'll be easy to track. What I will say actually, just on these calorie guidelines, these are guidelines, they're a starting point. Okay? What may happen is you may need to decrease them as time goes on. If you spend 2 weeks on one of these targeted calorie guidelines, and you could look at me and honestly say, you know, I got it, you know, 12 out of 14 days right, and on my cheat days I didn't go completely over the top, and I'm not seeing progress, you probably need to come back 10 to 15%. And that's fine, but these are your starting points, okay? I would say, to be honest, if you average this out over a week, like let's say 14,000 calories, it's probably better than what somebody at this weight is doing now. They may undereat for 6 days and they may overeat for 1. They may undereat for 5 and overeat for 2. They may do what everyone else does and diet from Monday to Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday becomes horrible and they go, oh, I can't lose weight. Yeah, obviously, because you eat like 4 times the amount of calories you should. So from that perspective, the only thing that really matters for calories is finding a balance between what you should be eating and what you're expending. If it happens that a little bit of the calories you take in during the day isn't good, like if a couple of bars of chocolate
Biscuits, man. Biscuits.
Yeah. Well, look.
Sneaky biscuit.
Sneaky biscuit gets in. Let's say Oreo. I know an Oreo is 56 calories because I was staring at the packet earlier. If you have 10 of those in a day, that's 560 calories. Yeah, you fucked up, but maybe you just don't have as big of a carb portion at your next meal, or maybe you just have meat and veg. Okay, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of your world. You don't have to have a complete diet break and just write it off and wait till next Monday to start again. If you have a bad meal, have your bad meal, get over it, move on. That being said, if you have calories left over and you've reported them correctly, do try and eat them. Don't just eat them for the sake of eating them. Try and get good quality food in. But don't undereat consistently for long periods of time, because 2 things will happen. Number 1, you'll fall off the wagon and have the mother of all binges. And number 2 is your body will just get used to having less calories and expect you to keep giving it that over time. And if that's what you do, that's what your body adapts to, eventually you end up under your maintenance level or your minimum level, and you will fall apart. You'll be tired, you'll be sick, and you'll just feel like crap. Has anyone ever done like a load of training, tried to undereat, and gotten like really sick off it? Yeah. Like, you may not even have noticed it at the time, but when people start training and start trying to lose weight, what they typically do is train loads more, eat way less, end up stressed about everything, and as a result they get sick, they get tired and congested, and then whoop-de-doo. That's awkward. Shut up, Dad. They get sick, they get tired, they get frustrated, they get pissed off, and when you're sick and when you're tired, what you do is eat shit. So, by trying to cheat the system and by trying to do it too fast, you just screw yourself over. Track the calories on your cheat days as well. Cheat afternoons, cheat meals, relaxation meals, diet break meals, refeed meals. Call it whatever you want that makes you happy about it. But essentially it's like a regular diet break and just having some food that you like. You can totally build that in normally anyway, but we're just trying to develop some good habits over the 6 weeks. Track the calories on those days purely to get a sense of where you're at. You might be surprised to find that a sleeve of Oreos is actually about 1,000 calories. Okay? Hypothetically speaking. Or a bag of the chili heatwave Doritos is about 750 calories. And you put those away without too much trouble. Same with a sleeve of Pringles. So having some sort of idea and some sort of sense of what you're taking in becomes super important. The final one then is going to be set process goals, not outcome goals. So the outcome would be to lose 6 kilos or to lose half a stone. Okay, so that's the outcome of the work you're doing. In order to do that, you've got to train 3 days a week, you've got to eat the right calories, you've got to do all of the stuff we've just talked about. But what's probably going to happen is, in 6 weeks' time, you may not get there because you've slipped up 5 or 6 times, you've given up because you're pissed off, and you can't see the end point because the end point is too far away. So instead of setting like a 6 kilo goal or whatever you want to call it, you're setting process goals. So the process is the things you have to do to get there. So for a week that might be train 3 times, prep my meals on Saturday or on Sunday and Thursday, eat at XYZ time, set a calendar reminder in your phone half an hour before you're due to eat that says, hey, your eating time's coming up, you better think about stopping whatever you're doing so you can eat. How many, like, you get wrapped up in work and you don't realize it's mealtime's over and you're like, shit, now I've got to eat. And your meal's not ready, you don't have the food there. What do you eat? You go for the closest, most sugariest thing you can get. Everything falls apart again. You're a horrible person. You may as well just go and eat all the biscuits. Oreos. Yeah. But that's kind of the conversation you have running inside of your head sometimes when this happens. So do everything you can do up front to beat it, because if you don't, if you rely on willpower is going to kick your ass, because willpower is just doing shit you don't want to do anyway. So set your process goals, not your outcome goals, and with that I'm going to let Sarah talk to you about how to set effective goals. I was going to say smart goals, but she hit me for that. We're going to do a Q&A afterwards as well, so if you do have any questions, we'll take them then, okay? So take in. Alright guys, thank you.